440 Boston here. Don't forget that this is our 10th episode. I'm the host, Altin. And then, just like I said, it's the 10th episode. We got another 10,000 to go. We ain't going nowhere. I'll be here pursuing my dream. Let me put my headphones on. Okay, I hope everybody is well and doing well. I had a wonderful weekend, amazing weekend. And I hope you guys had the same thing. One of my uncles here turned 85 yesterday. I call him uncle because it's my mother's first cousin, so I call him uncle all the time. He turned 85. Happy birthday to my uncle. Enjoy the life. And then what else we gonna talk today besides that? I'm happy. I got my glasses, prescription glasses. You know, I got 3 pairs. I got 3 pairs of them, just like I told you guys before. I got brand new 3 brand new pairs. They're really nice. They're really nice. That's the one that I had on. I like those ones too. Brand new. It cost, just like I said before, I paid $12 from the union. That's the reason most of the workers, that is one of the main reasons that most of the workers join the union. You cannot beat the insurance. That's why I explained it last time. That's what I insure my family. These are another pair of glasses. They're really good, nice. And then just like I said before, I pay like $12 an hour. So in 8-hour work shift a day, I pay almost $100. I don't see it goes to my health insurance to insure my family, my wife, and then 2 kids. So I basically pay like $2,300 something, $2,400 a month. Goes only to my insurance, health, for prescription glasses, eyes, vision, and then for dental, Delta Dental, that I have one of the greatest insurances. Okay, those glasses, all 3 pairs, didn't cost me anything. I got the papers here. I forgot I had it there. I had the paper. It was like $750 a pair. So it's like it's almost $2,100, $2,200 for all 3 pairs. I didn't pay anything. Well, I pay enough, you know, $12 an hour. It's more than enough. Now, from that, what we're gonna talk about today? Okay, last weekend I was at this event that was held at Harvard School in Cambridge. Was LABERIA, the voice of timeless tradition. It was a big event. I was there. I really loved it. A couple friends of mine were there. You know, they were singing folk songs. That's the group right there. I have a couple friends in there. I'm gonna zoom a little bit more so you guys can all see it. It's beautiful. I'm gonna announce today that in the near future they're gonna be here in our podcast. I'm talking with them. They're ready to do the podcast, to do the episode for the LABERIA, the voice timeless and tradition. They're gonna sing a couple of folk songs for us here. We're gonna have an amazing time. Be tuned. So I'm gonna let you guys know what's going on and which episode we're gonna have them on. But besides that, we have those girls here with those folk costumes, Albanian costumes. Those young ladies was really beautiful. I had a really blessed time there. Really blessed time. See those folk costumes from Albania. Different regions of Albania with the folk costumes that those young lady representing there. It's very amazing. And then I really had an amazing time. Let me take this picture out. And then what we're gonna talk today. Besides that, since I was at announcements, I'm gonna announce today that be tuned and check our next episode. Because we're gonna have a really because we're going to have a really special guest. I cannot tell you much about it right now, but it's going to be an amazing episode. So the 11th episode is going to be amazing. Not upcoming Friday, next one. Okay, guys, stay tuned and follow us. Subscribe, like the channel. Matter of fact, we got like over 4,000 views at our last episode, on the 9th episode, which I really love it, and I appreciate each and every one of you for all the support they're showing for our channel, for 440 Boston. Now, just like I said, don't forget, subscribe, comment, like, share, download, everything. What we're gonna talk now today about it? Today, what we're gonna talk? What else than tariffs? But man, it's unpredictable. I don't know. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, it's something going on, something boiling. I'm gonna keep you all posted on that. I worked really hard on this episode with some facts and statistics, and then I'm gonna tell you what the really is going on behind the closed doors, because you see the tariffs there. Oh, it's just war on selling products or doing this or doing that, which really is not just for that, but is a cheap war. I'm gonna let you guys know China is producing some amazing chips lately. Chips are used for everything: computers, laptops, the whole AI industry, you name it, radars, in military, you name it. Those are the names that come in my mind right now, but you cannot go anywhere those days with those without those chips. Those are the chips. I got a little picture here. I can open it up for you. See, those are the chips. You know what I mean? It's a chip war. This is what's going on behind the scene. But I'm gonna explain that to you later, because now what we're gonna go now for? I've totally forgot. We're gonna talk about a little bit, and one of the legendary actors of Albania, movie stars of Albania, died lately last week. Margarita Jepa is her name. I got her picture here. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit for you, open it up a little. One of the biggest actors of all the time, movie actors of all the time in Albania, one of the greatest figures in Albanian movie industry. To me, was one of the greatest ones. We all do have great, really good actors. She was from my era, not the same age, but I enjoy, because I'm 50. She's like she died at the age of 91, 92. But at that time, in the communism, Albanian socialism, I just explained to you guys, we couldn't wait to see a movie. We didn't have much TV. I got some nice coffee here. We didn't have a much TV channels, none, just because I lived 16 years. I said at the time we couldn't wait to watch a movie. We couldn't wait. So during the week in communism regime, TV shows, we have it only. So the TV, not just shows, TV was from every day, was from weekly day, was from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. That's it. That's how much TV you can watch. It's nothing in there. It was like you can open the TV, but you cannot see nothing. It's no shows, no news, nothing. And then only Sundays, when I was mostly at, that we had a chance to see most of the TV, was like, because during the week I have to do my homework for school and everything. But on Sundays we have the most chance to sit to watch TV, because on Sundays they have it. This was a day off. They have it from 10 in the morning to 2. So at 12 in the morning, we're watching movies where one of our greatest movie stars was playing. She played she played in 150 roles in theater, and around 35 roles in the movies. I really love her movies. Most of her movies. I really love the Appassionata movie. Everybody from Albania knows what I'm talking about. Which one else I liked? And I'm gonna try to translate this in English. I like the movie. Move it. No, I'm just joking. I like the movie. The Mission Beyond the Sea. In Albania, you can say it. I don't know if I translated well, but The Mission Beyond the Sea is in Albania is Missioni per te Dedit. I really loved her in her role that she was playing with this one or another movie, Albanian movie star Agim Chiriachi. I really liked she at that she was his fiance or something, a wife I guess, and she has this beautiful blue dress. Oh, I really loved it. Uh, just like I said, one of the greatest actor. The other movie that I liked about it is Dim Rifundi, the last winter. Meshano. Really great movie. May she rest in peace. Uh, what else we gonna talk about before we go to tariffs? I gotta close this. Let me close this picture. What else gonna? Oh, the another actor died. Another actor died. Another actor died. One of my favorite one, Val Kilmer, one of the greatest actor. He played some this movie clip that I put that picture from a movie clip I put there. I cannot play clips that I'm telling everybody. It's YouTube. Can't, especially in America. I check when those guys do it in Albania and some other parts of the world. They don't have issues at all. But here, you cannot play with that. You know, I just put this picture that this took him from the movie Tombstone. I already showed you guys that movie when I. It's Tombstone. It's with Russell Crowe playing as Wyatt Earp, but he has when the President Trump inauguration was, he has Kurt Russell has the same round brim hat, you know, as Melania Trump wore at that Eric Javid said that Melania Trump wore at the inauguration day, and then that's why I put that picture there. Now I'm using another picture from the same movie. This is one of the best parts in the movie. Go and check it when Johnny Ringo. Probably I saw that. Maybe if I say 300 times, it's not much. You know, it's most of my favorite episodes. The this one here, and then when Johnny Ringo was playing with you know, they have a little conversation with Doc Holliday, played by Val Kilmer. Check it out, you're gonna love it. I really love this episode. Not going much more deep in that. Just like I said, check it out. But Val Kilmer played on the movie Hit. That was one of the greatest movie here. The greatest movie of all the time, the Hit '95 movie. He played with some heavyweight movie superstars there. He played with the Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. The movie is a great one. I watched it probably a month ago. I watched it lately, a month ago. It's really great movie. If you need a action movie, it's a little old, but you got some heavyweight superstars there. You know what I mean? That which is, I really loved it. It's great. He may rest in peace. He was really young actually. He was 65, I think 60. I think it was 60, 63 or 65. May rest in peace. Now let me take this picture out, and then you see some heavyweights there that I have on the screen. Those are the guys that are fighting. And then you know what they say. We say in Albania, Kurdu. I'm gonna say it in Albanian language, and then probably I'm gonna try to translate it. Kurdu elefant zien bari shkelet. Now those two heavyweights there, two elephants, they're fighting with each other. They ruin the grass. You know what I mean? Of course, when the two elephants, big elephants fight, the grass is gonna get ruined. That was the proverb from Albania that we use. Quote. Okay. Now, just like I said, let's go to the main part. What we gonna talk today about? What else than tariffs? Now I'm gonna give you a little glimpse before I go there. China is going really forward, and then producing some amazing chips, semiconductors. If you guys heard about ASML company, it's from Netherlands. China has a deal with them and bought a lot of machineries from them. They spent tons of money. They spent like $200 million to get that machine. That machine that is considered is DUV machine. They were considered the holy grail. Those machines produce the chips because it's all backstage. It's all the chips. What we see in a trade war, but the most of the war is for the chips. You know, I mean, you see the chips I'm putting here on the corner. I'm breaking it down a little bit. Let me open it. So China spent like $200 million to get the machine so they can produce the chips by themselves. And then they're producing really good. But this company, let me tell you, this company ASML from Netherlands, America told them, American government, cut all the ties with China. We don't care what you're gonna do. Cut all the ties with China. We don't want you to give China any more of those machineries or to help them with semiconductors. And then nothing, they say. I don't want you to fix their machines. I don't want you to give them the machines, and I don't want you to give them more chips and everything. Because just like I said before, is the whole AI industry relies on those chips. Now those chips, China now it's producing 7 nanometer ones, but they're working on 5 nanometers, and they working also, which they're gonna have it soon, and then they producing and they say in a near future they gonna get to the 3.9 how they say it, 5 nanometers, and then this is the 3 nanometer chip, and then what's the problem? So the China don't rely too much on America anymore. They're building everything themselves. So what did they do? They didn't say nothing to the company SAML. They got really pissed, but they didn't say not a word. They said, let's go underground, do our job. And they threw to Huawei. If you guys remember the Huawei from Canada that they lost like $50 billion because Trump didn't let them come to America. And then what happened? They went underground. They're producing their own ones. China, it's known for reverse engineering. They still allegedly and reverse engineering. They produce their own. They put in the market $400 billion injected to the market just for creating their own machineries so they can produce those DUV machines, and then they can produce their own chips so they don't have to rely on America. Most of the Americans' chips come from Taiwan. Taiwan, it's a major one. But let's not go there, we go there later. So what China is saying now, that's why the tariff war started, is what China is saying now, because they're not buying more from America. You know, they're producing their own, you know what I mean? They taking only what they need, then they do the reverse engineering. America understand that, and they put stop into it, and then the tariff started. But what China says, I don't want you to bully me anymore. They're saying to America, we are so close. They're saying to get everything on our own, which America doesn't like it. The government didn't like it, and what they saying, we didn't. They said to American government to buy them before Trump now, and when Trump was 2016, 2020, what did they say? They say we want to sit in the table with you because we basically producing almost everything on our own, and then we're gonna get really really good at it. They said we want to sit in a table with you guys as equal partners. We can talk and then share everything we got. I don't, because China is like little brother, America is the bigger brother, and they saying, I don't want you big brother to slap me around anymore. I'm not little anymore, I'm big now. So if you want to sit in table with me, get me some whiskey also. China is saying, I want to try those top-notch American Badger whiskey. So bring some nice whiskey to the table and we share it, and then we share thoughts and discuss like we could partner whatever's going on tariffs and on chip industry, semiconductors. Now talking about the whiskey, since I was there, I'm gonna pour myself a little glass of whiskey here so I can get a little taste to what they're gonna taste. Got some Johnny Black right there. It's very very good. It's very smooth. Oh my god, I really love it. Cheers everyone. Now we're gonna go deep on it. I'm gonna give you some stats, some facts, and talk about it, everything. Now don't forget, guys, we made it. See, I got some stickers here. Everywhere I go, I'm giving it to everybody. Albanian podcast here, #1 in America right now. 4,044, almost 44, 500, 4,500 views, 4,500 views on last episode, on the ninth one. Now, put the seatbelts on, because I'm starting it. Now, how did the tariff start? I'm going to give you a little glimpse how did they start. Tariffs and excise taxes were authorized by the United States Constitution and recommended by the first United States Secretary of Treasury, Alexander Hamilton, in 1789. To tax foreign imports and set up low excise taxes on whiskey and few other products to provide the federal government with enough money to pay. Who created the Tariff Act of 1789? On a symbolic date of July 4th, President George Washington signed the Tariff Act of 1789. The law placed a 5% tax on all imports. It was sponsored by Congressman James Madison and passed by the first U.S. Congress and signed in law by President George Washington. Tariffs or taxes on import goods have long history, with the first major law, as we mentioned earlier, passed by first Congress. What was the cause of tariffs? Tariffs on import are designed to raise the price of import goods to discourage consumption. So the intention is for citizens to buy a local product, stay local. 2008, if you guys remember, everybody, I used to own I built a restaurant from scratch at that time, 2007, and then a recession hit, the hard one in 2008 was really tough, but everybody was coming at the restaurant, and everywhere you go, everybody was saying, don't go vacation, just stay local, stay local, stay local, manage the situation. Okay, so the intention, going back to what we're talking about, so the intention is for citizens to buy local products instead, thereby stimulating their country economy. According to Dartmouth economist Douglas Irving, tariffs have served three primary purposes: to raise revenue for the government, to restrict imports, and protect domestic producers from foreign competition, and to reach reciprocity agreements that reduce trade barriers. From 1790 to 1860, average tariffs increased from 20% to 60% before declining again to 20%. Now, from 1861 to 1933, which Irving characterized as the restriction period, the average tariff increased to 50% and remaining at that level for several decades. From 1934 onwards, which Irving characterized as the reciprocity period, the average tariff declined substantially until leveled off at 5%. Post-World War II, trade liberalization. After World War II, the U.S. moved towards trade liberalization with agreements like General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, GATT called, and its successor, the World Trade Organization, WTO, which dramatically lowered global tariffs. Now, current role. Today, tariffs are less prominent source of revenue and less common policy tool than in the past, with roughly 70% of all products entering the U.S. duty-free. All the products entering, hear me out again here, entering the U.S., United States, duty-free. That's why Trump saying to the Europe, why for my cars, in my car industry, Dodge, Chevy, Ford, what else we have here, GMC, why we have to pay 25% tax when we bring to Europe? Because America has American industry has 3,300 stores in Europe. Why we have to pay 25%? Why we don't have it 0-0? Or you tax me 25%, let's check it out, let's look it again, and then we tax you 25%. You're paying 0, bringing the cars here, we didn't charge you anything, no BMW, no Mercedes, nothing. So besides that, even those manufacturers like BMW come to America because they saying the price gonna raise from 16 to 12,000. Don't buy BMW, brother, buy Mercedes. I own one, E-Class. E-Class, it's not made here, but it's which one it's made here? The GLC, GLE, I think are made here. That's we have Tuscaloosa. It's the Tuscaloosa. It's the biggest Benz factory here in America. You know what I mean? It's already here. So don't buy BMW, buy Mercedes. You know, try to get advantage and see which one is good for you, and then buy Hondas, or those gonna be expensive too. But like, or buy American cars. Man, that's why President is Trump doing, so you can buy more American products made in America. And let me tell you, when I own that restaurant, I'm gonna talk to you about the products. Gotta get a little whiskey. I gotta clean my throat. Let me tell you these American products, man. That's why he's stimulating, and he's saying like, we better buy here, bring all the manufacturing here. But look at American products. When I first opened that restaurant that I talked to you about in 2007, I opened it from scratch in Beverly. Beautiful. We had a lot of sandwiches and coffee, macchiatos, lattes, cappuccinos, you name it. Gelato. Anyway, but the machineries that I bought, refrigerators, man, I'm telling you, I bought this for 12 or $13,000. I bought this nice refrigerator from Canada. It was beautiful one. I liked it for the look that it had. It was like half one of those half dry on the top. I think it was dry on the top for to sell pastries and things, but you can turn it to the cold area also. And then the bottom was open one, like for the drinks to get cool, and then it was in the front of the store, so you can pick up a drink. It was like open refrigerator, you can pick up drinks and things. Man, it was beautiful, but was most problematic refrigerator that I have. The true, and then I got those true refrigerators that I made here in America. Oh my god, man. Excuse me, let me tell you, get them from, have all those restaurants equipment, get the American ones, man. They are like bulletproof, unbelievable, man. You can heat that refrigerator with pickaxe, break them down, it's still gonna work. And that the Canadian one was just good for the look, nothing. I was very disappointed. What I'm trying to say, buy American products, even in the union, or my, because union support the American manufacturers on every point, on everything, even when they give us shirts and everything, shoes, when we go to the raffles and everything, every one of those, it's American made. But I love to put them on me. You know what I mean? Wear those sweaters, work sweaters and shoes. Shoes, man, are like $300 boot that we get, work shoes that we get from the Red Wing, that union providing those for us. And then, man, I'm telling you, for a year, every year they give us a pair, but the number one, they never break down, man. Best shoes ever made, Red Wings. I really love them. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is support America, buy everything here. Here, the manufacturers here first. I know it's gonna cost little money, but you can have more life out of it. You know what I'm saying? You following me? You can have more life out of it. And then let me tell you this quote, which I use it all the time for myself and my family. This quote is from Israel. It's a Jewish quote. This Jewish quote is, I'm not rich to buy cheap stuff. Well saying. Check it out one more time. I'm not rich to buy cheap stuff, because it's gonna break. You buy today, breaks tomorrow. Can't rely on it. I better pay $2 more and get the right product, and then I know I have to sleep on it. Like, I don't care anymore, because I know it's gonna go for 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years straight, not for 2 days. And then you're fighting with Amazon to return it, and Temu, see that Temu company? Oh my god. Okay, so rely on American products. That is my gift to you for today. You know what I mean? It's gonna be nice. Now, the Trump administration. So just like I said, 70% of our catching up where I left it. with roughly 70% of all the products, European and whatever products entering US, are entering US duty free. Now, recent tariffs. Let's talk about recent tariffs. The Trump administration approach marked a shift back towards tariffs as a policy tool, with tariffs imposed on goods from China and other countries. Let me show you this picture here, man. One of my favorite pictures of all the time. Let me share this with you. My favorite. Do you guys remember this picture? This is from with everybody I talk and have a discussion about it. I talk about this picture. This picture, see how President Donald J. Trump on 2018 at the G7 meeting in Europe. Look at him. He's staying there because he said, like, I'm going to start tariffs. I'm going to tariff the hell out of you, because 70% of products, just like I said, that enter the America, he's saying, they're duty free. How about you guys charging me? He started on 2018. He said, like, be prepared. Look at all the world leaders. Angela Merkel, who got Emmanuel Macron there, and all other leaders. Who's that guy there? Is this? I don't. I know very well that guy, the Chinese guy. I can't remember now. Is that the Japanese prime minister? I think. Anyway, look at him. That's it, he said, you're going to get tariffs. And what happened to the world when he put the foot down at that picture there? They said everything going to change from now on. No more bullshit, he's saying. COVID happened. China wasn't prepared for those tariffs and put it reciprocity, because China brings a lot of stuff here. They're selling crazy. It's the biggest market. America, biggest market in the world. Now, what they do, COVID breakdown. Allegedly from China, from one lab. Still they accepted a little, but not full 100%, you know. And then before they were saying was this a bat came from a bat, you know, contaminated or something. I don't know. It get like crazy, but reality is allegedly leaked from their lab. They saying it leaked, and they put the whole world for 4 years in chaos. Till President Trump got out on 2020, Biden came in, he didn't know what he was doing. The government was managing some stuff allegedly. I'm a Democrat, but Biden didn't know, I'm sorry, didn't know nothing. I don't know, he was like half asleep probably. Now going back to what we talked about, the current situation. While tariffs are still used, they are a small part of overall US economy and trade policy than they used to be. On April 2, 2025, President Trump announced Liberation Day tariff. Now let's talk. There was a little over a week ago, yeah, almost a week ago. Let's talk about it. If tariffs, because I asked ChatGPT, I was like, what is going to be if the tariffs between China go to zero? Now the ChatGPT answer to me, it's easy, you know, everybody, you know, click there and do ChatGPT. But I had my question, I need to know some knowledge. Now, if tariffs between the US and China go to zero, like, who will be the big winners and losers? Both countries will see economic benefits, but China will likely profit more in the short to medium term for a few key reasons. Let me explain to you. One, why China might profit more. One, export driving economy. China relies heavily on export for economic growth. Lowering the US tariffs will make Chinese goods cheaper in the US, increasing demand and boosting Chinese manufacturing and employment. Two, competitive pricing. Chinese goods are often cheaper than US-made equivalents. With zero tariffs, their price advantages increase, likely leading to the greater market share in the US. Economic scale. China export volumes to US have historically been larger than US exports to China. Removing tariffs will remove a larger cost barrier on a greater volume of goods from China. Now, we talked about China, like, if it's gonna be zero tariffs, why the US also gains? One, cheaper consumer goods. It's gonna be cheap on stuff, you know, whatever you get on Walmart or all those dollar stores, you know what I mean, it's gonna be way cheaper. US consumers and businesses benefit from low prices on imported Chinese goods, especially electronics, clothing, and components for manufacturing. Now, two, more exports to China. US farmers and high-tech manufacturers will gain better access to China's massive consumer market, especially if China also drops non-tariff barriers. Now, three, lower business costs. US companies that rely on Chinese supply chains will see reduced input costs, improving margins and potentially boosting domestic investment. Now, long-term consideration. Strategic industries like semiconductors or electric vehicles might become more exposed to competition. China is producing some really good and inexpensive machines. You know, better that they have way better price than Elon Musk. That's why Elon Musk got pissed off, because his cars are a little bit more expensive. But also, who controls? Since I'm at Elon Musk, I'm gonna bring this up. That's why he got pissed off, and I think he's out of Dodge. I think he wants to taking care only of, and he was taking care of only of his companies, because Tesla stock, and I mentioned it in my Facebook, Tesla stock is 50% down, 50% from November. It's 50% down from November. So what Achilles said there when he was going to go to war with the Troy. He said, like, when he got to the shores, he said, like, brothers to the sword, do you see what's beyond that beach? One of the best movie clips ever. Really love that movie clip. Do you see what's beyond that beach? Immortality. Go, take it. It's yours. So take the chance. It's 50% down. From November, there was like $480, $500 for a share. Now it's $250. It was closed. A few days ago, it was $200.13. Everybody's like, every day, it's a buy the dip, because you never know what's going on the next day. Try it. Then that's why he got pissed off. But plus China, since I'm at Elon, China control 90%. Let me tell you, that's why this war is very hard. China controls 90% of raw earth materials. Two factories in the world, China owns it. They produce what they produce for they have raw materials. What they produce for that's why the Tesla CEO got pissed off, Elon Musk. They produce that material for their engine. The engine of Tesla has two, in the little engine that they have, has two magnets there. All those magnets are made with raw materials. So if the China raised those prices and tariffs, which they going from 125 now, they announced yesterday or they went to 125. That's why they're fighting with Trump, and Trump jumped to 145. You know what I mean? Yesterday Trump's announced it. Oh, you made it 125, now I'm 145, he said. So Tesla relies so much on raw materials that China controls. All those two factories China has, they control 90% of it. Okay, now going back to geopolitical and labor concerns might push the US to maintain some protection despite the economic upside. Now, in short, China benefits in short term. China benefits more economically in the short term due to export volume and price competitiveness. The US benefits through lower prices and improved efficiency, but gains are more diffused. Now, why China doesn't want to do that? It's political reason. Like basically, who are you to push me around like that? Just like I said before, America is a bigger brother, been slapping China around for like 200 years. But China is older than America. America is only 200 years. China is 5,000 years. So China is like, that's it. It's the time not to get pushed around anymore. They like more to sit on the table and treat it equally and try nice American whiskey. Just like me. Choose the best Baggio, they said in America, they produce whiskey. And let's sit on the table, have a sip together. Talk like two fellow businessmen. They control in the world. If I mention whiskey, I can't stay without taking a little sip. You know, I gotta clean my throat. Now, what's going on? Before the US-China trade war, which began just like I explained to you with the photo of Donald Trump in earnest in 2018. Average tariff between the two countries were relatively low due to both being members of the World Trade Organization, WTO, called pre-trade war. Before 2018, here I have just like I told you, that's the $1 billion peak right there. You know what I mean? The US tariffs on Chinese goods before 2018 average 3% or not. What was the US tariff? One more time. What was the US tariffs on Chinese goods before 2018? Average 3% on most goods. Most products were under most favored nation MFN rates per WTO commitments. China tariffs on US goods average 8. So America has it 3% on Chinese goods. China has it 8 to 10% on American goods. Higher than US, but still relatively moderated. Post-trade war, 2019-2020, both countries imposed large regulatory tariffs, creating a massive escalation. US tariffs on Chinese goods imposed tariffs on over 360 billion worth of Chinese imports. That's how much China import here to America. Tariff levels range from 7.5% to 25%. So this is a period from 2019-2020. They went ballistic on those categories like electronics, machinery, furniture, and textiles. China tariffs on US goods retaliate with tariffs on over 110 billion worth of US exports. Rates were varied, but some reached up to 25%, especially on agricultural goods, soybeans, pork, and this and that, and other ones. Now, phase 1 trade deal 2020 eased some tariffs, but most remain. US maintained about 66% of tariffs on Chinese goods. China agreed to purchase more US goods, but did not significantly lower its tariffs. And China also, let me tell you, China also reduced the investments here in America from. They started on 2016. On 2016, their investment here in America were like yearly $46 billion to $50 billion. Now they are like 2.3, 2.2 billion 2024. So that's not good. As of April 9, 2025, the trade relationship between the United States and China has seen significant tariff escalation. US tariffs on Chinese imports. On April 2, 2025, President Donald Trump announced the 34 blanket tariff on Chinese goods effective on April 9, 2025. This new tariff is additional to existing duties, including a prior 20% tariff imposed in March 2025. Consequently, the cumulative tariff rate on Chinese import now stands at 54. China retaliatory tariffs on U.S. imports. In response to U.S. measures, China has increased tariffs on American goods to 84%. Trump retaliated, that's what I told you before. They put it 84%. President-elect Donald J. Trump said, if you make a move, and you don't sit in the table as I want to and decide what's going on because I'm putting my foot down. But that's what China hates. China put it 84%. Trump told them if you retaliate, you're going to get another 50% on top of what you put in. And and then Trump retaliated after China did 84%. Trump did it 125%. And 2 days ago, just like I said, China did it 125, and our president-elect Donald J. Trump put it at 145. Now, additionally, China has listed several U.S. companies on its export control and unreliable entities list, further restriction trade. This development marks a significant escalation in U.S.-China trade conflict, with both nations imposing substantial tariffs on each other export. Like I said, Donald Trump stunned the markets on Wednesday. Going back to that, with another quick pivot on trade, announcing he would authorize 90 days. That's what I'm saying, it's unpredictable. He will authorize 90-day pause on his reciprocal tariffs. Did you see the stock when he announced in April 2nd that he announced that we're gonna do the liberation days? The next day stock market was like unbelievably went down 2700, 2300, down directly, go all the way down 23 points. Nasdaq, S&P, Dow Jones lost 100 points, and then the very next day it lost another 17. So in 2 days they lost, Dow Jones lost 6.4 trillion with T, $6.4 trillion it lost, Dow Jones. And then after 2 days, Donald Trump's the president said he's putting he came up in the morning, he said, like, was it Wednesday? Yes. He said, like, in the morning, all you guys, I'm gonna put 90 days pause on his reciprocal tariffs, 90-day pause. And as soon as he said that, but he said that later the day, but in the morning he said, his through social media, he said, like, just go out there and buy the dip. He was telling the truth, but nobody was catching the phrase. He was like, he just came out and he posted in truth social media, he said, like, buy the dip. And then later on he came up, he said, like, I'm putting 90 days pause on his reciprocal tariff plans for all the countries except China. And in that moment, just that moment, I was so busy that day, man. So busy. When I come home, I was fighting with my wife. So we were waiting for that investment, but never wait. I'm telling to anyone, never wait. Every day is a deep day. Buy. Tomorrow it's gonna be high. Next day high. Those markets never go down. Even when they go down like 2008, 2009. How much was Dow at that time? 7,000 point. Now it's 40 something point, 40,000 something for one share. Anyway, he said buy, because every day it's a deep day. If you see it that way, compared to all the years since the Dow Jones is open, never went down, just going up. So buy, every day it's a dip. Invest. That's what he said. I'm putting everybody for 90 days pause, and then stock jumped like crazy, like 2,300 points, 2,900 points at one point, 3,100 at one point, 3,100 point, and then he dropped down to 2,100, and then the next day was big also, was like 1,300 went up. So they made whatever they wiped out 2-3 days ago, like $6.4 trillion. They make only those 2 days, they make like 5.3 trillion. You know what I mean? Their money was going back to the stock market. Now everybody gonna get 90-day pause, he said, but except China. Just telling the reports, he did so because people were getting, he didn't let the stock die down. He gave them 90-day pause because all the people were getting yippy and afraid. They were getting a little bit yippy, he said, a little bit afraid. He said always they're referring to a market unrest then unfold following his Liberation Day tariff announcement a week ago. The benchmark, just like I said, S&P 500 roared up 9.5%, and biggest increase since 2008 recession. Question is now that I'm going to tell you, basically what is Trump is saying. He's fighting hard for the American economy, for American manufacturers, and for American people. He's fighting, the whole government is fighting so hard. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Question is, where do they sell to me? But remember that what Trump, I'm going to go back to Trump. Look what he's saying. It's like, do you guys saw that commercial? It's my money and I need it now. J.G. Wentworth. That's what he's saying to the world. You've been fucking screwing us for so long. Ain't gonna happen again. That's what the picture right there tells. That's why it's $1 billion picture. You can't fuck with us anymore. It's my money. You're ripping me off for so many years since after World War II. So I need my money back, he's saying. For my people. Bring everything to my country. Support everything for my people here. American manufacturers, American economy. So it's my money, he's saying, and I need it now. The commercial, J.G. Wentworth. As soon as he was fighting, that commercial came in my mind, and I was using my friends at work. We all laughing. Anyway, let me tell you now, going back here. Question is, where do they sell most of the products? Who they sell the products the most? China. China and Europe, but let's go with China. Where do they sell the most products? They sell all the products here in America. Only here, 350 million people, and Europe also, where they sell most of the product. Here in America, brother. Did you heard about it? Now, who's coming here to America? Which car manufacturer coming in here to America? And I go back to that thing. Rolls-Royce is coming here. They're building a factory somewhere down in South, mid-South, I think. They're building a factory. They're gonna hire 6,000 employees. Hyundai is coming here. They're gonna build a factory, and they're saying they're gonna get like 1,600 employee hiring. You know what I'm saying? So come here. That's what Trump is doing. But going back to the question, now where do they sell the most? China and Europe. Here in America, baby. Here in America. Because you know what we do here in America? Nes Jeloim here. I'm gonna put it in Albania. Here in America. And I came up with this quote here in America, and I tell everybody that I see, because American people, they are American born here, they don't realize. Even my kids, they don't realize every day, but I realize it, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? What they do here in America, what we do here, let me put it in Albania, and I put it in English too. We ne zgjelojmë foljen blej këtu në Amerikë. Every couple, everybody that you meet, everybody that you see, do you know? In the conversation, I bet you with my life, 2-3 times you mentioned the word blej. 2-3 times you mentioned the word blej. It's the most blej. It's the word blej. It's buy. To explain it for Americans, is the word buy. So I'm gonna put it in English. We change the curse of the verb buy here in America. Get it again. We change the curse of the word buy. Word buy. You know, just everybody you meet is like, I bought this. What you doing? Yeah, I bought this one. I'm gonna buy that. I bought this. I buy that. Like bleva this in Albania. Bleva that. Un blej ti, blej ai blej. Ne blame you blame ata blame. I'm crazy for it. Like, forget about it. Now, what I'm trying to say, that's where all the money is spent. They need the American market. They cannot go China and Europe. They cannot go anywhere without European market. I mean the American market. And it's no question, ask about it, no question. Now talking about Europe, since I brought the Europe, it's almost same size of America. It's a little bigger. Europe has and it's a little bigger as a land mass, and then has like Europe has like 100 million people more than America. So America is 350 million, Europe is 450 million. But who are the major countries? Who are the major countries in Europe? Major countries are Italy. What do you have in Italy? Because they are G7 partners. Now, what do you have in Italy? 60 million people, 59 million people. What do you have in England? 56 million people. What do you have in Germany? 84 million people. What do you have in France? 68 million people. Well, they give or take what they do all together, like 270 million, because that's almost most of the countries where they got strongest GDP and they do good. But forget Germany, because Germany is in recession now. And can you fucking believe that Germany was one of the best countries? And I came with that quote, and I sprayed around Germany. I was telling to my friends at work, Germany is like America of Europe. Germany is in 2014, they are in recession now because of the political view and movement that they're going on there. They are in a recession. But if Germany is in a recession, the whole Europe is in recession. And do you see what those tariffs that President Trump is putting on them? It's gonna hurt him a lot. Why? What did the Ursula von der Leyen, President of European Commission, said after Trump put in the tariffs? Oh, we're gonna retaliate. We're preparing countermeasures. 2 days later, she's like, how about 0-0? We're not gonna do countermeasures, but how about if we zero the tariffs? They don't have the butt to do anything. Nothing. Just like I said, Germany is in recession. Is the USA of Europe. And guess what? In 2014, that's why I called it America of Europe. 2014, they were the biggest exporters of the world. They were ranked #1. Look at where they are right now because of the political socialism politics they implementing in there. You know what I mean? They totally in a recession. I don't know if they're gonna come back, but of course, you know, everything in life is like a heartbeat. I tell everybody, everything in life is like a heartbeat. You know, up and down, up and down. Everything. It's gonna have to go down to go up, so you can appreciate it. Everything in every aspect of life, every aspect. It's a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? So, where they gonna sell all their product? Just like I said, only here in America. Now going to the chip war, because I'm gonna talk about the chip now. The chip picture that I have in semiconductor. Yes, there is a chip war that is playing behind the scene. Nobody mentioned it. Between the United States and China, the US has been taking measures to restrict China's access to advanced semiconductors and the equipment needed to make them. In a move seen as an attempt to protect its national security and technological dominance. So let me elaborate US actions. The US has imposed sanctions and export controls on companies and equipment related to semiconductors manufacturing to limit China's access to cutting-edge chips and the tools to produce them. Because they don't want them to produce them. They want them to rely on us. You know what I mean? Rely on us because they're going to go so far advanced with all the AI technology, we have to control them. Semiconductors are used in many applications. Where are the semiconductors? And I have the chip right there. In air conditionings, automobile safety, medical care, communication, network equipment, bank ATMs, trains, and the internet. Semiconductors are the key technology that enable many modern technologies, including artificial intelligence, AI, autonomous driving, and electric vehicles. Since I met autonomous driving, they can't wait. You know, you see the Uber and Lyft guys ain't gonna be any more drivers there. Tesla gave us, you know, autonomous driving, but it's not the best. They saying it's not the best. They have difficulties. When I was in San Francisco with my family for vacation, couple weeks in 2023, we stopped in San Francisco to see the Golden Gate Bridge, and we will go in those beautiful seaside neighborhoods there in San Francisco. And then, because I really loved it, all those houses connected, all the colors, beautiful on those little San Francisco hills. I really loved it. It was amazing. I had picture and thing, but I never thought it's going to came up. But now, you know, I thought about it. And then we were driving right behind the car, and that car stop was a Jaguar, very beautiful. All the glass, you know, the windshield and everything was blacked out. You can't see inside, but I saw a lot of gizmos on the roof and on the sides and this and that. And we thought with my daughter and my wife, with the kids in the car, we said like probably it's you know, one of those Google Earth cars that try, you know what I mean, like checks all the surroundings and everything. Yeah, maps, Google Map car. But I saw it later. Then I was checking because somebody posted on Facebook or somewhere, and they're saying that that's the drive self car, because it started 3 years ago in San Francisco. The only problem with those cars is, because I checked a little bit about it, and then I was seeing it, and the only problem with those cars was like when they got close to the police cars, when they go into the emergency, or firefighter trucks or ambulances when they are in emergency, and that's what they get a little confused. But they progressing well, but you're gonna see it because all those Uber drivers, although Uber is going to get those autonomous vehicles, and then you don't need, that's the future. You're not going to need a driver anymore. Now, semiconductors, leaving this, going back, semiconductor research, design, and manufacturing have advanced rapidly in recent years, allowing chips to contain billions of transistors on a small piece of silicon. That's the one that I'm showing there in the picture for you. You know, Chinese response to US action, China has responded by attempting to decouple from Western dependencies, considering restrictions on rare earth export, what I told you before, and banning imports of products from US chip makers. They are also investing heavily in domestic chip production to achieve self-sufficiency. Underlying reason: the chip war is rooted in the US concerns about China's growing technological capabilities and its potential impact on national security and economic competitiveness. Now, impact that is going to have. The conflict has significantly impacted the global semiconductor industry, with China facing challenges in obtaining advanced chips and the US potentially facing competition from a more self-sufficient China. How far behind China is in chip technology? They saying here is like 3 to 5 years. China chip technology lags behind global leaders like Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing called TSMC, but it's roughly 3 to 5 years, they say, with some sources suggesting a gap, because you don't know, suggesting a gap of up to 10 years in certain areas. But the problem is that's what this war is going on now, because they think it's 3 to 5 years behind and 10 years behind in some certain areas, but they are afraid that the China is ahead of America. That's why it's this war. They want to see where they are. They are spies in both sides. They want to see how far they are. It's America behind with Nvidia, or it's China with their own companies, what they're trying to build. Here's more detailed breakdown. Gap in advanced manufacturing. Chinese most advanced chip manufacturing capabilities are estimated to be, just like I said, to be 3 to 5 years behind the TSMC, the giant on the chip industry. I forgot the name of the country anyway, but that's where the Taiwan, that's where the America is taking it from. Now, where does the US get most of its computer chips? The United States import most of its computer chips, especially the most advanced ones, from Taiwan. They are top notch. Especially 44.2% of US imports of the most sophisticated logic chips are manufactured there, while the US has strong chip design capabilities and only manufactures about 10% of the global supply. From the most cutting-edge chips, the US relies heavily on Taiwan, particularly on companies like, just like I mentioned earlier, TSMC. Taiwan, it's called TSMC, it's Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing. Okay, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing will invest $100 billion into 5 new fabrication facilities in Arizona. President Trump announced at SNBC a few days ago. President Trump called the investment a tremendous move by the most powerful company in the world. Who has the most powerful chips? Because that's what we're talking about the chips. You know, I mean, that's what the whole world is going. You know, because I named it earlier what they needed for that the whole AI need those chips. Now, who is the most powerful chip company in the world? Nvidia. Nvidia is the company based here in America. It's US tech giant, and Nvidia, the stock they listed on the stock market, their stock is like $800 something for each one share. I'm not pretty sure, 830 or something like that. Now, Nvidia let's talk about NVIDIA a little. The US tech giant NVIDIA releases world's most powerful chip for AI. It's called the Blackwell B200 GPU, created by US tech giant NVIDIA. NVIDIA significantly boosts AI training and processing speeds. This development could lead to breakthroughs in areas like the metaverse, manufacturing, robotics, and healthcare. March 25th, 2024, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing will invest 100 billion into 5 new fabrication facilities. Yeah, that I said this before. But look at China. Going back to NVIDIA, why did China ban NVIDIA? Since 2002, US regulators have restricted what semiconductor chip NVIDIA can sell to China out of fear that Beijing could harness American technology to bolster its AI and military capabilities. The H2 arose under these constraints, becoming the most powerful AI chip it could export to China under the law. Now, America don't want to send those chips to China because just like what I said before, China is biggest thieves out there. China allegedly, they don't spend money. They don't have a group of engineers to create something on their own. They have a group of engineers. When they buy something from America, they have a group of engineers to do reverse engineering. So they see how far you are and what you build, and they build it. Same exact, the same one was the. That's why America is afraid. They don't want. That's why they ban NVIDIA giving them those chips, because they know in a year they do a contract and they lower the exports from America. The imports from America, they're not going to buy from America anymore. Just like I said in the beginning, they stopped the investment in America from 42 billion, 45 billion in 2016 to right now it's 2 billion. 0.6 to 2.3 I think. That's why they get from you, they sign those contracts, they start building themselves, and then they drop down their export. Now that's why President Trump said put all those chips produced from NVIDIA, put it on hold. We're not gonna give it to them. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna play by our rules. So to wrap it up, because we are in the end, we're gonna see what's going on. It's gonna be very tough war. You never know, but I saw that China didn't retaliate much. China went from didn't go above us. China went from 84 to 125. We were 125 to show we want to sit. We're not going above you. We're like, do you have it? President Trump put it at 125 tariffs. They came from 84, they came to 125. So let's talk, they saying. They didn't go above. You know what I mean? But President Trump said no. We're going to go 145. Till you realize that we are the big dog here. You know what I'm saying? We're going to see what's going to be. We're going to see. You know what I mean? But just like I said before, it's the best time to buy. If you're a trader, you buy in stock market, you play the stock market, buy the dip. It's going to be amazing. You're going to build some wealth, investment in the future. You're going to have some good steak in the freezer, to leave it to your kids or for your family, or to pass it to your kids. I hope everything went well. I had I was excited for this episode because I worked a lot for this episode, everything. I wish you guys have a wonderful week in front of you, and then I'm gonna leave you just like that. Take care, bye bye, and I'm gonna see you again on, where is it, another so in 2 weeks, next Friday. Thank you, take care, bye bye.